Hello everyone. Well, this is interesting. Today is September 6th. Wasn't expecting to have the Lego Game Boy until sometime in early October. Official release date is October 1st. That's what all the pre-orders said. That's what my pre-order said with Walmart, and everywhere else you could pre-order it. But today I was walking into our local Sam's Club, and the very first large pallet that I saw had the Lego Game Boy on it. And so I don't know, I'm not the biggest Lego collector. There are sets that I absolutely love and purchase and put those together. And this one obviously being one that I've been probably the most excited about out of any set I've ever seen. I don't know if it's common for these to hit stores before their actual launch dates. I wasn't expecting to see it. I was just expecting to get my pre-order. But I snagged this. Again, this is September 6th. So about a month ahead of schedule. And instead of $59.99, this was $49.99. And I'll clip in a picture that I snapped while I was at Sam's Club. And so really excited about this. So in this video, we're gonna unbox everything, do a time lapse of me building it, but maybe just dive a little bit into why I've been so excited for this set. Obviously, I love handheld gaming. I love handheld consoles. My all-time favorite being the Game Boy. This is the DMG, and so the original, and that's what this set is based off of. And so I'm really excited to have the opportunity to create this in Lego form and see how they match up. Have a little bit of Tetris going here on the Game Boy. But I love buying old Game Boys on eBay that say that they're as is or for parts and repair, because they're actually incredibly easy to repair in most cases. Very often, as I try and look at the images on eBay, a lot of the time it's just corrosion here in the battery bay. And once you get it in, either you swap out the contacts for the batteries or just clean them with isopropyl alcohol. Scrub some other things on the board with alcohol, and it usually just starts right up. They're very reliable. And so my all-time favorite handheld gaming system. And so have several of these, but we'll keep him here in the background as we're building his Lego counterpart. But have the Portal, the Switch 2, the ROG Ally. Just love handheld gaming. I think it's come so far. But really, it kicked off with the Game Boy in the mainstream. And so when this set was announced, I was all over it. And, I know with Legos, there's always talk about price per piece and things like that. $60 never bothered me. But finding it for $50, I mean, why not? So I did pick this up. I did cancel my Walmart pre-order. And they had just a huge pallet of these. I might pick up a second one. I would really, and I'm sure someone on the internet smarter than me is going to do it, but putting an operational Game Boy inside of the Lego chassis. I'm sure there'd be lots of modifications that need to happen, but it'll be interesting as I put it together just to kind of visualize if and how that could happen. And so, but yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and just open it up, see what's inside, and then we'll do the time lapse. And I'm really trying not to maul this case or this box because I would like to keep it. So I might take it off frame for just a sec. All right. I always forget about the thumb tabs that you press in so you don't maul the box. I probably haven't cared as much about the boxes in other sets as I do this one. Maybe just to give you guys an idea of other sets I have been interested in. There's a few Star Wars ones, certainly Formula One. Love all of the teams from the Speed series. Not so much from the City series, not really into those ones, but the Speed series, I think that all of those ones are great, and so I've done a few of those. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'm so excited for this. Looks like we have at least 4. Looks like we're gonna be doing 4 bags. Oh, there's the screens, the battery door, and some of the replaceable screens. So that's cool. Oh, there are 5 bags. These are the stickers for the 2 games. I really wish it was Tetris, but I mean, I'm sure it's a headache. You know, they're working directly with Nintendo on this, and so it's probably a lot easier to use these games, you know, these Nintendo Zelda and Mario games. I would have loved for it to be Tetris, just because I feel like that's the most iconic Game Boy game. It shipped with the unit back in 80 or in 89, and really I think that that's the most iconic game for the system. But then they'd be having to work with the Tetris company, and I'm sure they didn't want to have to dive into all of that and just stick with working with Nintendo. And Lego and Nintendo have been doing a lot of sets over the last few years, so that's kind of cool. All right, there we go. There's our manual. Well, that's cool. Kind of gives you a history. That's great. I love video game history. You'll definitely see that on this channel. Oh, and there's the original box. I have one of those behind me on my shelf that the Game Boy came in. So a little handheld history. That's cool. All right, well, I'm gonna cut to a time lapse. See you guys on the other side. All right, well, that was a ton of fun. Just finished up. I had a few misfires, but some things I had to go back and fix. I had it done, and I realized that the letter A to mark the A button wasn't there. So I had to go back and troubleshoot a little bit. It was on the inside. So fix that up, but got the other cart done. The Legend of Zelda. When it loads, it's got the very snappy power switch. Kind of wish it had the little slide that actually locked in the cart. I'm sure that was hard, but that would have been a nice touch. If you guys don't know what that is, on the real Game Boy, when you flick the power button, it puts this little tab over the cart, so you can't just rip it out while you're playing it and damage the system or damage the cart. But that's just a small thing. But yeah, in terms of just how it feels, how it looks, it's very similar. Feels great. The buttons feel really good. The D-pad, I was, skeptical that they could make that work and make it feel good, and it has the same functionality. It feels really cool. So there's it comes with 3 screens, one for each of the games, and then the load up screen that you always see, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's the descending Nintendo logo before it kicks you into the game. But yeah, so that's the one I went with here. It's really cool. It was a ton of fun, guys. Like, this was, I had a blast. I think it, like I said early on, $60 was no bother to me. Anything higher than that would have been hard, but I still would have bought it. But for what you get, the way it presents itself on the stand, coming with the games too, or the cartridges, I was lucky I got it for $50 at Sam's Club today. I still think it's worth the $60. But yeah, if you can find it at one of the clubs, I don't know if Costco's going to carry it too, but if you can find it at one of the clubs for $50, I think it's a no-brainer. And it's going to look great up on the shelf next to the real thing. And so I'm just way excited. We're really happy. There was one funny thing. There was a little 1x piece that was missing. So I had to steal from the inside. And there was a couple of these 1x's left over, but in the dark gray. And so I didn't want to use that. So I swapped one of the light gray internal ones with a dark gray one, so I could bring it to the outside to close that gap. That was the only piece that I was missing that I could see. These 1x's over here are all flat pieces. They don't have the standoff, and so that was funny, but got it resolved. Not a big deal. The dials for volume and for contrast, they feel great. It's just a ton of fun to be able to just cycle those just like you do on the real thing. Yeah, that's a quick look and quick build and review of the Lego Game Boy. By far my favorite set that I've ever put together. So go check it out and add it to your collection. Thanks, guys.